All right, welcome everyone to our presentation today. How you can increase your value and charge more. My name again is Serena Jack, Vice President of the Mark Wealth Academy. And just quickly, I wanted to share with you the purpose of the Wealth Academy is really to address the financial crisis of security and retirement that exists in America today. And I'm pleased to introduce to you the founder of the Mark One Real Estate Wealth Academy, Mark Prather. You can see him on your screen now. Mark started in the real estate industry at the age of 18 in 1977. And at age 22, he started his first company, Mark One Mortgage. And over the years, he built his mortgage company up to 16 locations and employed hundreds of salespeople. In April of 2004, he did 13 interviews, not all on TV, where he was warning consumers of the foreclosure disaster that we all witnessed in real estate. He accurately warned and predicted in the next 2 to 3 years, we will see massive foreclosures. Mark's new company, the Mark One Real Estate Wealth Academy, is the culmination of his 40-year career. And today he's going to be introducing you to some of the most sophisticated real estate wealth building strategies ever taught. And these concepts are radically altering the lives of people from all walks of life. And he's going to show you how to use these strategies and apply them to your real estate business to increase your value and to be able to charge more for your services. Mark is also a published author. He has a book titled Why the Rich Stay Rich and the Poor Stay Poor. And it's a comprehensive guide to building wealth, starting with your belief systems. So let me stop talking and we'll get started with Mark. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Serena. All right, let's talk about where real estate is today. Technology has really, it's changed all our lives in so many different ways. I call it the Uberization of America, where Uber has put a serious beating on the taxi, and we have Amazon that is just devastated shopping malls and retailers, and now we have Zillow trying to be the Amazon of real estate. What's happened is real estate's become more difficult. I mean, much more difficult, because of all these technology changes. 65% of consumers go online and they start at Zillow, and now real estate, or Zillow is now a real estate company. I mean, imagine 65% any industry going to starting at one particular company. 100% of consumers start online, and Zillow, you can see what their grand plan is to commoditize housing or homes with online purchasing and so on. Well, if you've ever thought there has to be a better way, you're right, there is a better way, and I'm going to show you this better way. But what's first important, and I mean critically important, is to understand how we got to where we are today within the real estate industry. Because when we understand how we've transitioned to where we are, then we can understand what changes we need to make. This is when the realtors ruled the real estate market. Now you can see up here the world of consumers. A consumer would identify their need to buy or sell real estate. So what they would do once they've identified that need, the options that they had was they could drive around the neighborhood looking for real estate signs, or they could go in the newspaper and look at the hundreds of ads, and there were never addresses. Sometimes there were prices, sometimes there weren't. But in either case, both became really frustrating and futile. And so very quickly, they went to the agents, because the agents controlled the information. The real estate agents, residential agents, were the guard at the gate of information. The agents would use the MLS, and in those days, it was a book. And so what was powerful for an agent, first and foremost, is the consumers needed them, and they knew they needed them, and they were clear on what the agent's value was to them. So the agent helped them find a house, and off we went, and the agent made sales. Well, the world changed, the world of consumers. Now they need a house. They don't call an agent first. They call an agent last. Where do they start? They start online. It's Zillow, Redfin, and so on. Now, once they've been online, they've done all this research. They've identified all the properties they're interested, price point, bedrooms, balance, all those different kinds of things. Then they say, okay, let me talk to an agent. Well, in their mind, the huge problem this creates is their value, the agent value has been greatly diminished. And Zillow is all over this, and this is why they've purchased that other company, Showcase, as far as trying to control showing properties and so on. And again, it's all about the commoditization. So agents have moved down in the food chain, and real estate commissions keep coming down. They used to be 6%, then they went to 5%. Many companies now on a national level, the average is in the 4s. There are all kinds of discount companies and so on, and people giving away the sales commission and what have you. But it all ties into the same concept, is in the consumer's mind, is they're questioning the value. I want to show you how we can fix this problem and put you in a power position again, so powerful that you can actually increase your commissions back to where they were and frankly where they should be. And this is something that was not my idea, is that in educating a lot of the agents, is they recognize their value. And so they started charging more. And they started telling me, they say, Mark, I don't charge 4% or 4.5% anymore. I'm charging 5, 5.5, 6%, because I see my value and the consumers recognize it. I mean, why do we pay $100,000 for a Mercedes and only $30,000 for a Kia or something like that? It all comes down to what our perceived value is. I'll show you how we can change that. Here's the key, though, to being successful, and this is really true in any business. It's having a superior differentiation. So the big question I have for you is, what value are you providing consumers that your competitor agents and Zillow are not? What is the key differentiating factor that, and not just from your perspective, but more importantly from the consumer perspective? When a consumer looks at you, and because they're asking themselves this question, is what makes you different and what makes you better than any other agent? If that is not clearly articulated in your scripts, in your conversations, in your marketing, if that is not clearly articulated, then in their mind, you're not different. And if you're not different, then your value is minimized. And guess what that means to your commissions? You're going to get into the commission battle with all these discounters, and you start making less and less. And every industry expert is predicting real estate commissions to continue to decline, because they're all approaching residential real estate the same exact way. I'm going to show you a completely different way to approach your career and radically change the game. But the key to selling starts with solving consumer problems. Now, I want to repeat that, and I hope you're taking some notes. In every activity that you have, as far as marketing, selling, scripts, conversation, it all starts with identifying consumer problems. What consumer problems? What are the consumer problems? What are your client problems? First, they're prospect problems, and then we want to elevate them to consumer problems. What problems do they have that you can solve? So I want you to think about this question from what problem do over 80% of Americans have that you, as a real estate agent and real estate itself, can solve? What's amazing is this is a huge, huge problem, and virtually every agent overlooks identifying and addressing this problem. Here's the problem: it's money. The statistics show that approximately 83% of Americans worry about money 24/7, and that's in every category. That's the 20 to 30 crowd, the 30 to 40, the 40 to 50, and the 50 to 60, and seniors. Every category, it's over 80%. It's 82, 83, 84% of the people worry about money basically their whole life. Now, I don't imagine that surprises you. Yeah, it didn't surprise me because I worried about money so much so that the point at 49, I had a massive heart attack. The reason they worry about money is most of them can't save very much money. 80% of the people in this country struggle to save money. You have 10% that are wealthy and then another 10% that are financially in a pretty good shape. And then you have the other 80%. The only people that in that bottom 80% that are really financially secure are people that work for the government that have a really nice pension so that they can, when they get done with their 25 or 30 years, they can retire because they can't save very much money either. We all want to be financially secure. We want to at least have the choice of retirement. And we'd like to be wealthy, but frankly, most people don't believe it's possible, so they don't even think about it when it is possible. I'm going to show you right now how we can radically change your value, capture consumers' interest literally in seconds. But you need to understand how we can increase your market size. I mean, just those first two elements are powerful in and of itself. But I'm going to show you how to make selling real estate dramatically easier. See, the top category where it says 3 to 4% buying now. And here's what that means. 3 to 4% of consumers are in the market to buy real estate. 100% of the agents are chasing this 3 or 4%. So it's not very many people. And there's a ton of competition and there's very little differentiation. So you see what all that adds up to? Lower commissions. This is why 6 became 5, 5 became 4, and 4 is going to become 3, and who knows how much lower it'll go. It's because you got all these people chasing this small marketplace, all walking and talking and sounding the same way, offering the same decreased value. Here's how we change the game. The next category, only 7 to 10% of consumers own a rental property, own 2 or more properties. In LA County, it's about 7%. Orange County, it's about 10, and nationwide, it's about 8%. Now, here's my point in bringing this up. What does that tell you consumers believe about real estate as an investment? Well, 65% have a 401k or an IRA, and that's where they invest their money because that's where their retirement plan is. They have a financial advisor. So 65% nationally are invested in the stock market, and 8% are invested in real estate. Now, as an agent, let me ask you this question. Where do you think you're going to grow your wealth more? In real estate or in stocks? Now, when I do these events, live events with agents, and I ask that question, 100% of the agents raise their hands, say real estate, and they're right. But when I ask them, can you prove it? None can prove it. If you can't prove it, it doesn't mean anything. But here's the epic opportunity, is look at this third category. Homeowners only own their home. They don't see their home as an investment. They have a 401k or an IRA, and they're struggling to save money in it. And then 50% are renters, and 10% of these renters have a 401k or an IRA, and they can buy, but they choose not to. What I'm about to show you is in this category, this 40% and 10%, that's 50% of the population, 50% of adults can buy real estate and need to buy real estate. And there are no agents pursuing this 50%. Zero. Why? Because they don't know how. Because they've never been trained on how to attack this market and bring them into the market, because they've only been trained the same old tired scripts for the past 50 years of how to chase the 3 or 4%. And they believe this is what they're supposed to do because that's all they've ever been shown. What I'm going to show you is this massive market opportunity with no competition. And I'm going to show you right now how to penetrate this and open this market to you, and we're doing this every day. But here's, to give you kind of greater clarity on just, remember I said the solution, the key to sales is problem solution. Attack the problem, because if you have a problem, if you're sick, you want to get well, right? So we're always looking for cures or solutions to our problems. Here's the wealth crisis in America today. Now, this report is from Goldman Sachs. Now, the dark blue, you see, is 1989. The light blue is 2016. So it's basically about a 30-year report. Here's what it's showing is, if you look at the difference between the dark blue and the light blue, we're going to start here on the far right, which is the top 1/10 of 1%. So over the past 30 years, the top 1/10 of 1%, their wealth growth has grown from about 13 to about 17%. Now, the next 9/10 has grown from about 27% to about 33%. So the top 1% have about 50% of the wealth in this country. The next 9%, you can see, has a slight contraction. But if we take this top 10%, 9/10 and 1/10, that's 10%. The top 10% have 93% of the wealth in this country. Here's the middle class, the 50 to 90 percentile. Look at the huge contraction in wealth from about 17 to about 7%. The middle class is going backwards financially. This is why the number of people that are able to retire is declining, and declining radically. Is the 401k and the IRA have been miserable failures. And almost every private company in this country has eliminated pensions, which means Americans are on their own. This is a monumental problem that you, and only you, in real estate can solve, and no one's attacking this market opportunity until now, what we've created. Now, remember I asked you, what is better, real estate or stocks when it comes to wealth growth? Well, every agent says real estate, and as I said, they're right, but they don't know how to prove it. And if you don't prove it, it doesn't mean anything. I'm going to show you, not only is real estate superior in wealth growth, it's the fastest path to build wealth, and it's the safest. And on top of that, it's not even close. Let me show you how radically superior real estate is, number one. But number two is, as important as it is to know that real estate blows away every other investment class in wealth growth as far as speed and safety, it's also important to understand why. Because if you can't explain it, then you're just like every other agent that only talks about houses and the commoditization. So let's talk about the renters. I'm going to show you how to convert renters powerfully and quickly. Let's say you're a renter and you have $120,000 in your 401k or your IRA. Now, if you have $120,000 that you've saved and it's in the stock market, well, you're going to get $120,000 worth of stock. Let's say you average a net return of 8% on your 401k or IRA. Now, here's why I say net of 8%. Because money managers don't work for free. These companies charge on average about 1.5%, which means they would have to be delivering a 9.5% return on average for you to net 8. The average 401k, most people are averaging around 4.5%. Here's why. Two reasons. Number one is their money is diversified in 4 different categories. So the financial planners are trying to be really safe and secure, so they diversify, which brings your return way down. So that's the number one reason. Number two is what I mentioned before, it's the expense of it. They charge fees. Now, if you're a renter, you got to live someplace. So you cannot live in stocks. If you had 120 grand in stocks, you get stock certificates. Those stock certificates have no utility. You cannot use them for anything. So now you're paying rent of $3,000 a month. And we're going to say rents go up 4%. Now, California rents average increasing 4% a year and have for decades, for all the way back to the 1940s. LA and Orange County is more like 5.5%. We're only using 4%. So 4% increases on your rent, as far as annual rent increases. At 8%, that 120 grand in 30 years is going to be over $1,200,000. So you can see it's gone up tenfold. That's a 10 times growth rate. Any financial planner would be ecstatic with that. But look what's happened to rent. With rent increases over 30 years, the renter would have paid over $2 million. Renters are losing money every single day and they don't even know it. They're literally going backwards financially. Now let's say we take that same 120 grand, which is 20% down on buying a $600,000 property. And the property only goes up 5% a year. Now I only say 5 because California's 50-year average is 7.3% a year. So we're only using 5. Last year, during the COVID run, Inland Empire real estate prices up 22%. LA County was about 15. And Orange County was like 12. 54-year average, 7.3. I'm only using 5. Here's the PITI. You can see in 30 years, the 120 grand has turned into a property worth $2.5 million. It's going to be more like $3 million is really the reality of it. The homeowner would have only paid $1,180,000. Here's $90,000 for like carpet and paint. The net gain is $1.3 million. Here's the point: the utility value is the combination of these two numbers. Add these two numbers, and you're over at well over $2 million in value. So for someone that's renting, this utility value is worth over $2 million. Now, let's say you're a homeowner and you turn your home into a rental and go buy another property. Now you're collecting the $3,000 a month in rent. We have the 4% appreciation rate on rent increases. And now we've collected the $2 million in rent. Look at the difference. Same scenario, but now we have a net gain of over $3 million versus $1.2 million in stocks. It's almost triple. Here's the reality. We have proprietary calculators, and we do this analysis for our clients. And we do this in partnership with the agent. And we can prove, this is one way proving that real estate will outperform the stock market by 3 to 4 times. That's pretty incredible. 3 to 4 times. Next, real estate's the safest investment you can make. Now here's why real estate's the safest investment. It's the only asset that operates on 2 separate supply and demand components. So write that down. Real estate is the safest investment you can make because it operates on 2 separate supply and demand components. Here's what that means. This is a report you can see from departmentofnumbers.com that you can access. It's a great website for all kinds of data. Anyway, you can see US gross rents, California gross rents. This is showing 1-year average 4.33%, 3-year average 12%. So California statewide average about 4%. As I said, LA and Orange County do much better than that. But here's the important point: is let's look at 2008. Now you'll see that the blue is median, green is average. So basically, here's the average of rent increase. But look at the stability. California rents have been tracking like this, with this kind of stability, dating. The farthest reports I could find were dating back to about 1942, and that's on a website called uscensus.gov. Name a stock that looks this stable for 80 years. It doesn't exist. Here's why this is critically important. If you're retired, how important is it that your retirement income be stable? Well, it's critically important, right? Now, getting back to 2008. In 2008, we learned something really profound. We had an economic meltdown where the stock market collapsed by 50 to 60%. Real estate prices were down 40 to 60%, depending on what part of the country you were talking. But let's say you had $1 million in your retirement account. and the stock market collapsed, and now it's worth $500,000. What do you think happened to your retirement income? Well, you know, the answer is that it got cut in half, dollar for dollar with the value. But let's say you had $1 million fourplex. Let's say each unit was $1,500 a month times 4, $6,000 a month. $1,500 a month, and for 4 units is $6,000. And here's what happened: the demand to buy stocks collapsed, and the demand to buy real estate collapsed. But what happened to the demand to rent? Well, it actually went up. And you know why, right? People were either losing their house or walking away from their house, and they became renters. So rental demand actually went up. So that's why real estate's the safest investment, is because the demand, there's a housing crisis in this state. There's real housing shortage, and people keep moving here from all over the world. This is why we have the stability of rental income. Now, real estate is the fastest way to build wealth for 2 key reasons. One, I showed you the utility value. Here's the second: it's the 5 economic benefits of real estate. And what that means is you're making money 5 different ways. Let me show you how we demonstrate this for our clients. And I have a little presentation on this. Because no, I'm gonna
Uncheck the screen.
okay. Okay, now let me turn this down. Is that about right?
Yep, that's good.
Is that good right there? Okay. All right, so let me show you the 5 economic benefits of real estate. This is a powerfully important presentation. I've done many presentations. Before COVID, we were doing these in different hotels. And what I found is that a lot of clients, a lot of consumers are not numbers people. So looking at charts and graphs, they get lost really fast. So I was looking for a simple way to present to them the power and significance of these 5 economic benefits. So I created this poker chip presentation. So let me show you how this works. The red chips represent your money. So let's say you put $1 into the stock market. Is that good? Does that work? Okay. $1 goes in the stock market. Okay. And you get 1%. Now, reality is if you put $1 in the stock market, you're not going to get 1%. But for simplicity, we'll go with 1%. Now, there are 3 problems with this. The first problem is the rate of return is so low, you're not making really any money. Second is you're actually losing money because of inflation. Inflation historically over the past 100 years has averaged 3%. But here's the worst problem, and why I created this poker chip, is this is what's called linear wealth growth, meaning you're making money in a straight line. You'll never get rich that way. Now, let's say you have another dollar and it goes into your 401k or IRA, which goes in the stock market, and you get 8%. Now, this is way better than the bank. Now, there's risk associated with, but 8% is way better than 1%, right? But here are the problems with putting money in your 401k or IRA. Is first off, is you have this return, which they're going to invest it in different funds, be very conservative to make sure that you don't get it wiped out with something crazy happening. Next is you have this income that you make here. You don't get any of the income growth until you're 59 and a half. So in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, it doesn't help you in your life along the way. Next is that when you start to pull this money at 59 and a half, or when you get in your 60s or retirement, is you have to pay full ordinary income tax, which is a lot of money. And the income tax rates are going up significantly. There's all kinds of strategies going on right now, that people are trying to employ to avoid this. If you living in California, California's a high tax state. You take California tax plus the federal government, you're looking at 30, 35, even 40% that's going to be taken away by the government. But here's the worst part of it, is it's, again, linear wealth growth. I mean, you're only making money on your money. And most people, they struggle to save money. That's why they worry about money, because they're not saving very much. It's hard to save money living in Southern California because of the high cost of living. Now, let's compare this to real estate. Let's say you put this same scenario, $1, and you buy a $10 property. So here's $1, 10% down. Here's $9 that you can borrow from the bank. So this is what we call leverage. So this is money from the bank. So I'm sure you're well aware of the term leverage, but let me show you how powerful this is. $1, same as a 401k, $9 from the bank. So where do you think you're going to make more money on? $1 or $10? Well, it's pretty obvious, but let's say you get 5% appreciation. So just like on that utility value, 5% of $1 is 5 cents. 5% of $10 is 50 cents. So here's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So now, just with 2 economic benefits, we've blown away the stock market. But there's 3 more. The next one is mortgage paid on. Every time you make a mortgage payment, a percentage of your payment is principal reduction. So whether you make it or it's a tenant making it for you, with interest rates as low as they are, the percentage of your payment that's principal reduction is more than it's ever been. It starts out around 33, 34%, and it grows to where the principal reduction will exceed 50% of your payment. The next economic benefit is tax benefits. If you own a home and you live there, it's your residence, you get up to $750,000 mortgage at the interest deduction. And you may be able to write off some of the property taxes depending on what your state income tax is. But that mortgage deduction is significant. But here's what's even better. And this is how we convert homeowners into investors, where they buy another property, is that when you have a rental, you get this huge tax write-off, which is called depreciation. We can show people how to create significant tax-free income to the tune of $15,000 to $20,000 of tax-free income. That's a lot of money to people. Can't do that in stocks. All right, and then lastly is the rental cash flow. Here's what's powerful and profound about rental cash flow. First off, is we showed the stability of rental cash flow, number one. Number two is basically, rents go one way, they go up. But here's the other advantage, is that when you own real estate, when you have your money invested in real estate, you have land and you have a structure. You have money in stocks, you only have stock certificates. But because of that land and structure, we have the utility of that property. Someone can use it, either we can use it or someone else. We can sell that utility, so we call that a renter or a tenant. That tenant pays us rent. So here's the renter's money. But if I loan you this money, if I loan you 90%, I loan you this money, and someone else, namely the renter, I'm the lender, I loan you this money, and the renter pays me back, not you, then doesn't this become free money? And the answer is absolutely. There's no other way to create this kind of, and I mean massive amounts, hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars of free money. So the big question I have for you is, look at the stack. It's not even close. How is it possible that 65% are in the 401k or IRA and 8% are in real estate? Who in their right mind would choose this over this? No one. You know the answer. But here's why that's happened, is because no agents bring this education to their clients. They don't have this conversation, because all they're trying to do is find someone that's looking to buy a house and they sell it as a commodity. This will radically differentiate you, create clients at an epic level, and you won't lose them. All right, let's go on. Okay. All right, let's see. Are we good on that? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, here's the next level, is how do you take this information and market it and convert clients? We've been building this platform. I've learned a number of really powerful things about selling, about marketing, and about wealth growth through real estate and through finance in my 44 years in this business. We started building this. I wrote the book about 6 years ago. We started building this educational platform, and now it's exploding because we really perfected the sales and marketing part of this. So if this is the first time that you've seen this, you're coming in at the right time, because I was really focused on building the education in a way that consumers could understand it. Because if they couldn't understand it, then we couldn't sell it. We've got that all figured out, and now the next level was how do we sell it? I'm going to show you. What we've created is 4 proven sales system. See, agents struggle. Number one reason why any salesperson struggle is because they don't have a sales, they do not have a proven sales system. What agents do, what almost every salesperson in every field, how they experience their career is, I call it every day is a new adventure. Meaning they wake up, they go to work, and they have no idea how they're going to sell. You have to have a system that works and that you can execute over and over and over. We have 4 specific systems. One for renters, one for homeowners. This is how we convert renters into buyers, how we bring homeowners into the market, and homeowners is really the sweet spot that you want to focus on. And then we have a senior strategy. Seniors are an easy market to tap into because time is a factor for them. If you're 55, 60, 65 years old and you're worried about retirement, and you're looking saying, and you own a home, and you're saying, well, how am I going to get there? You know, I own a house, but I only have 100 or 200 grand in my 401k or IRA. And I'm telling you, 80% of the people we talk to that are homeowners have less than 200,000 in their retirement account. If they're a senior, in their mind, they don't think there's any way for them to retire, and a financial planner is going to tell them that. But they can retire, and it can create transactions for you. And that's one of the trainings that we do. We have the strategies in the marketing. And lastly is the real estate investors. So depending on where you are in your career, if you're just starting, then I would focus on the renters and homeowners and get up to speed on that. Then we'll move into the seniors. And well, if you're a senior agent, then yeah, you probably want to bring the seniors, because the seniors are probably the easiest to bring into the market. But if you're seasoned, then you want to bring the real estate investors. One of the top agents that we have is a gentleman named Thomas Larini. And Thomas has only been in the real estate industry about 6 years. But Thomas, you can find him on Facebook. Thomas has been very active with us with the Real Estate Wealth Academy. But what's happened is he's radically differentiated himself from other agents. His business has exploded. But here's one of the things that's happened that to me is awesome. Is not only has his business exploded, but his clientele has diversified, and he's brought in all kinds of high-level investors where he's doing not just residential, but now apartments, small commercial, and he just brought in a project of it's a development of 40 units. So these are the systems, but here's where it works. Capture new clients in one sentence. The power of a compelling, refined marketing statement. So we'll show you that refined marketing statement. We have a script, which is an exciting conversation to the solution to the struggle of saving money, how people can build wealth and retire, that will create appointments. We do online consultation where we team up with you. So you focus on these 2 areas, we'll team up with you and do these online appointments, and we will convert 90% of prospects into clients. Now, not 90% can buy, but here's why our conversion rate is so high, is because we're not selling, we're teaching them. And once they understand what's in their best interest, and what's in their best interest is, here's what's amazing. This is going to sound ridiculous, absolute truth. 90% of the people in your cell phone right now need to buy real estate. Not for your benefit, for their benefit. But they don't know it. And you don't know how to market to them. You don't know how to sell to them. You don't know how to get them into the conversation. You have a friggin' gold mine in your cell phone. Now, as I said, 90% of them can't buy, but I'm going to tell you about a third can. But if you're only going to talk about bedrooms and baths, you're never going to bring them into the market. So here's the beginning of the sales system and the script. Is how do you introduce yourself? You've heard this term elevator pitch, or we call it a stadium pitch. I would introduce us. Hi, I'm Mark Prater. I'm a real estate wealth advisor. Now, what do you think goes through the consumer's mind as soon as you say I'm a real estate wealth advisor? They pause and they go, what? In their mind, they may or may not say it, but oftentimes they'll say, well, oh, I'm not familiar with that. What is that? But that's awesome, because as soon as you say I'm a real estate salesperson, or I'm a realtor, then they think, okay, you're selling me, and they go into retreat. I provide my clients, or another way you could say is I provide renters and homeowners the solution to saving money and retirement by providing profound real estate wealth strategies. When you're available to learn how you can build wealth and retire without saving money. Now, let's get back to your cell phone. What percentage of the people in your cell phone do you think want to know how to build wealth and retire without saving money? How do you think asking that question compares to asking, are you interested in buying a house? Are you interested in selling your house? This is how rebranding you and repositioning you as a real estate wealth advisor changes the game. This is, you can see Mary Landucci in our little intro video, but this is one of our flyers. Why buy real estate? This is a powerful conversation, and we have the training. And we talk about how you can get into the script about the 5 economic benefits. Here's the whole utility value analysis. We have this in a poster for open houses. And we have a whole conversation for open houses where we'll train you on when you meet someone in an open house and you ask them the question. You say, hey, thanks for coming to my open house. What brings you out? And you know what they're going to say when you ask that question, what brings you out? They're going to say, oh, I'm just looking. Okay, well, that's terrific. And you ask the question, what is it about buying real estate that is interesting to you? And you know what the answer is? They don't know. And that is the perfect answer. So, well, I think, owning real estate is a good thing, but they don't really know why. And then we get into the conversation and we'll train you the script, and which leads to a client and an appointment. Here's a marketing piece for our renter strat. Why renting is a financial disaster. We have a renting system. We've got the script. We've got the flyer, the digital marketing piece. We have a recorded presentation you can share with them 24/7. And then it leads into a client consultation. And I'm telling you, in fact, one of Mary Landucci's clients, she sent over with a renter. We had this conversation, send him to go to whyrentingIsAFinancialDisaster.com and watch that presentation. That presentation creates renter clients into buyers at an epic level. And the guy, I talked to him, I said, watch this and let's talk in a couple of days. We talked a couple of days later and he said, wow, Mark, he said, watching that presentation made me sick that I've been renting for the past 20 years. He said, but I got to fix that. And that's the response that you'll get. Real estate versus stocks. This is how we attack the 401k and the IRA. And we have a presentation tonight. And we're going to attack the 401k. And it's easy to attack because it's a failed strategy. But no agents are bringing this up because they just want to talk about bedrooms and baths because they're afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to learn. It is the education, the information, the knowledge that is going to set your career at a whole level, another level. But look at this, 2016 versus 2021. Here's a 5-year snapshot. If you were to put $60,000, 10% down into a $600,000 property, properties average 9.7% appreciation. Your total return, $404,000. $60,000 in 5 years became $404 for 48% compound return. 5 years ago, you put $60,000 in stocks, and it became $57,000. The real estate wealth growth is almost 10 times greater. So here's the question I have for you: can you sell this? Can you sell making 10 times more money faster and safer than stocks? With no competition. Here's our marketing resources, and Mary Landucci kind of hinted at a little bit of this. We have built a powerful and comprehensive platform. We do 2 live consumer events. We have a personal lead page, a 24/7 lead generation page that you can market, and it will separate you from the crowd as a real estate wealth advisor. You go to mark1wealthacademy.com to learn more about what we're doing. The next thing, something brand new that we're adding, is a new weekly real estate wealth show, live show, where I'm going to start this every Thursday night from 6 to 7, that we're going to be marketing all over Facebook and Instagram and positioning myself as, Mark Bray, the real estate wealth advisor, where we're going to do live online free consultations for consumer on wealth growth to create a massive lead generation program for our real estate wealth advisors, part of our program. So you'll get training on this. You can see we got our proprietary calculators, our client information. Serena is going to be doing a training, or what we call our marketing launch, right after this at 11 a.m. today. Here's our 24/7 lead generation system that you can use to market on social media, your database, and multimedia. And we'll show you, but it starts with this, is we provide you all the content. You market it to any of these different databases. They go to your personalized, exclusive lead generation page with your brief video introduction. We'll show you what that. Then from there, they register for some of our educational events. The lead goes to you. We schedule a consultation. If they don't schedule the consultation, then they go into your database. We will provide you the marketing content to invite them to our consumer events. We'll provide content for you for the email marketing. And where we want to get into is a consultation, because here's what happens when we get done with the consultation. They will answer, the clients will say this over and over. Okay, I get it. What do I do now? What we do now is we get you pre-approved for your loan, and we go start to look at buying real estate. Now, that's not to say that this doesn't create listings. It creates a lot of listings, because there are many opportunities where people want to go into units and ADUs. ADUs is a big strategy for us. All right, so here's an example of what the personal lead page looks like. You know, this is Jason, really one of the top agents in Orange County. Jason is real estate wealth advisor. If you're a renter, homeowner, senior, or investor, learn why real estate is the fastest and safest path to wealth and retirement. We have 4 different presentations, brief educational presentations about each one of these strategies. So here's the point, is it makes it super easy for you, because these are pre-recorded presentations where we're positioned a real estate wealth advisor. It's much easier when they see a presentation from a third party. So it's basically like when you bring a CPA in or an attorney. Our live consumer events, why real estate will blow away your 401k. Our seniors retire within 5 years without saving money through real estate. Why renting is a financial disaster. These are the live events that we do every month. You can see what our website looks like. You can go to the website, and we're growing and growing our base of real estate wealth advisors, and how we're positioning residential real estate agents as not just commodity salespeople. You're never going to make any serious money as a commodity salesperson, because the game is changing. It's so difficult. It's so time consuming. This changes all of that, and you get to a place where you have very little competition, number one, and the referrals start to come at a massive level because you're bringing such unique and superior value. So how do you think you will capture more clients and make more sales and more money, and you can even increase your commissions? Is, hello, I'm a realtor and I sell houses, or hello, I'm a real estate wealth advisor. I provide my clients the solution to saving money and retirement, providing profound real estate wealth strategies. So join our free Real Estate Wealth Academy events. We can get you involved with this, where you can get your own exclusive registration link. You can market these events. It will help you build, it'll differentiate you, help you build a database of clients. Go to mark1rewa.com, mark1rewa.com. We call Mark One Rewa to learn more about what we're doing with our events. And if you have any questions right now, I'd like to talk about this. We can address any questions that you have on our program. But I say what we're doing is growing at a tremendous